G'day, welcome back to the channel and thank you for joining me for what is going to be a channel update, but a little bit different. So I'm going to go over the elephant in the room, so to speak, why I haven't been making so many videos lately, but that's going to come up later on. First I wanted to cover something interesting and a mistake I made. So let's start with the mistake I made. This is interesting. This can go over here. Here we are. Equode. Let me zoom in. Now, if you've been watching my videos, focus, please. Thank you. If you're watching my videos, you'll know that I have had an intermittent connectivity issue with this plug assembly down here. I've been pulling it apart. I'm going to talk about that, but first I want to talk about something else. I think I might need a torch. This is not helping. This is not helping at all. Put you away. By the way, that's my new UV torch. It's also combined. Quite a nice little unit, actually. Has a little magnetic charger and all. Managed to get some gump on it. Anyway, so in here, which I really hope you can see there's a white thing there, a white line, and a white line that's sort of down here. Those are protective sheaths on the lines that run out of the capacitor, the solid bars. You can see there that I have almost had a catastrophe. In fact, I came along and you can look in here, this one was lying across those two terminals as this capacitor had been pushed in and twisted. And that is a failure in my build. That's a mistake I've made. I shouldn't have left the lines coming off the capacitor so long. I did sheath them because, you know, obviously they're live, but I really shouldn't have. So what I'm going to do is actually design a series of, so there's going to be one thing that will help to mount a capacitor back here, and the capacitor will sit in it, and it'll just provide a little bit of a springy, so it'll go around this and come behind the capacitor and sort of sit, you know, for a bed, and that will sort of hold it back. I'm also going to have to remove this and shorten those lines and do a better job. So please pay attention to that, because if you're flying and those lines do happen to cross, the capacitor goes pop, you then have a dead short as well, because, you know, or if it goes across your main battery line or something like that, you're gonna have problems. So that's that. Second up, we've got this. Ugh. Pardon my shaking, I'm tired and it's cold slightly, so a bit of both. Yeah, the weather's just gone like completely down. It was 33 degrees and now it's like 18 again. So you would think that the connection problem may be the pins are too tight together or it's broken back here. But this assembly, happier there, this assembly is all glued together, as you can see, with hot glue. And you can also see, if I spin that, can you see that kink in the negative line? I reckon that's where the break is. And this could be one of those things where you go in, you pull apart your plug assembly, you have a fix, and I'm going to pull it apart and have a look because I want to learn if there is any other fault, and if there is, I'll show it with another in another video. But this could be one of those things where you pull it apart, you think you fixed it, you go out, you fly, you rip it, and bleh, you know? Well, rip it and bleh, because it's this hand in it. But it cuts out, and then you're back to square one again, and you've wasted your time. So always check for that kind of a thing. I think there's a break in the line. Because there's already damage there to the positive line, I've pulled away the protective stuff I put on it, the liquid electrical tape, and sort of checked it. I haven't done that with this one, but I'm going to basically, what you want to do to make sure there's no break in your line is get your multimeter and get some of these. If you don't have these little like clamping probes, get some. You see they clamp on, they've got a little bit of a... They're not great, these are cheap, just dirt cheap off eBay. I would suggest you get slightly better ones, you might get stronger clamping bits. They can bend, but you can bend them back. Clamp on to where the terminals are and clamp on to where the battery plugs in on the same line and manipulate the system. Of course, have it set to connectivity on your multimeter, and if you're unaware what that is, that's that little it looks like a little radar or like waves coming out from a point. It's that one there, and hopefully it's picked up. It's that symbol there. So ugh. And you see if there's any break in the line, it'll stop making the noise immediately. It'll also tell you the resistance, but... And you can hear an intermittent signal. Like that noise will come through. You heard that noise when I was shaking the two probes around, bouncing them off each other. So that is what you want to look for, and check those lines as well as checking that plug assembly. Anyway, that's one thing. It kind of took longer than I thought it would. Don't forget to turn off your multimeter or you're gonna waste your battery. How many times have I done that? Second thing. On the quad, you see? All right. Now this is the dark nut. If you've watched the videos, you can watch build videos of this. This is 5-inch freestyle basher quad. You know, and it's actually on one of those super cheap frames, which is sort of toughened up with a few 3D printed bits. You can see the arms have not been, but they're pretty cheap to replace, although you can't really get the Martian 2 arms anymore. So there will be a day soon where I move on from this frame, but not yet. And the reason for that, I think, is something to do with what I'm going to talk about. So, focus again, please. Focus. So you see this panel. This is a PLA panel, and there were two of these. They have been shattered. Let me just get this noise for you. That's just me squeezing on either side, like this. I was flying this, and some people just don't know when to not talk to you when you're flying, and like about things, and you get distracted. And you know, like, I'm not great at talking when I'm flying, so I was like, please don't distract me, and someone thought it was funny to distract me. Now I'm not going to tell you who that was or report them, because yeah, but I crashed. Now still got the battery on it actually from that crash. This, I want to get this here. Focus on the quad. Now when you can see that because the plates are so thin, it's flexed, and it's pushed a lot of force into the quad. I'm pretty sure that these plates have been sacrificed in the crash, and have they've delaminated. The energy to delaminate them like this, I'll take them out and we'll have a look in a sec, would be reasonably significant, and I think that saved the quad. So if you're running one of these really cheaper light frames, maybe chucking some sacrificial plates in there is a good idea. I didn't even notice that there was a problem. It was just because the front prop was clipping on this one. Like, it was clipping here. Focus. As it came by, and it wasn't even like every rotation it was clipping, it was just some. I was like, what in the bloody hell? Is that my battery thing? But it can't be my battery thing, because, I mean, look, you know, it's properly secured there. So I flew it back and I looked, and I was like, holy crap. Those plates have been in it for ages, and I've never had them break. I must have hit it right in like an angle, like here. You can hear them. You can hear them flex, or nosed it, but nosing it's probably less likely because of the arms. So I'm thinking here. On the top here, this is a TPU little thing. I just put the M there because, you know, shits and giggles. Yeah, but I'd highly recommend a little bit of, you know, if you've got a 3D printer, yeah, or even if you don't, and just cut out like some plastic stuff with, put holes in it and make a little pad at the top. But honestly, get a 3D printer. They are life-changing if you're into this kind of thing. Anyway, right, so all that aside, let's get into the slightly more dour stuff. Fair warning, I actually shot this separately and I was going to do it first in the original layout of this video, but I've decided to do it second because I thought this was more interesting and, you know, really I think the subscribers are more interested in this than the people coming along just to randomly pick up a quad video. So yeah, we'll get into that. And oh, that's what I was going to say. So yes, it is going to have some cuts made in it because otherwise it would make no sense. For instance, me entering the video, greeting you twice, or saying that we're going to cut to this afterwards, which may be unavoidable to cut out, but please forgive me. It's just how I thought the video would be better to be made, and I don't want to do all that stuff again because really it's, you know, it's very much from the heart. All right, let's get into it. So I'll start with, well, telling you why the channel sort of, the videos on the channel sort of just like ceased almost for a while, and I've been quite slow in starting up again. In short, everything's gone to shit. No, not quite. Where do I begin? For a long time, I was suffering chronic pain, and that's because I had hemorrhoids. I actually have a lot that I could pass on to people who are suffering from hemorrhoids or who have a propensity to suffer from hemorrhoids because it's one of those found congenital things that comes down from your parents. I'm going to make a video about that at some point and try to pass that on, which may help some people. I hope it does. Why else would I make it? But back to the point of this. Throughout the entire time I've been making videos, up until the beginning of this year, well, March, maybe, and still sometimes, but March, really, I was suffering from chronic pain and found it very difficult to do a lot of things, to do many things, to do any things, and get up and have a crap. Pain, blood, awful. But I persevered with my job, with YouTube, my hobbies. And then I had an operation, second operation in January, and I went through one of the most painful things I've ever been through. The most painful thing I've ever been through, hands down. I've been in a wheelchair from tearing my ACL. Not fully, just partially, but still. But after that, I got better. And I got a lot better. Physically. Smashing it. I've gained weight. I was down to 63 kilos. I'm not a heavy guy. Like, my maximum is sort of like 70. I'm very light frame. But I'm back there, basically. Just a little bit under. A little bit under, excuse me. A cold. And that was great. And fortunate bloody timing. Because not long after that, my mum and my grandma both got cancer. Well, my mum's cancer came back. And my grandma had a basal cell carcinoma on her head. Of all the cancers, she had a pretty good one to get. It only required electron radiotherapy, not photon radiotherapy. But still, she's 97. It's a lot to take care of. Someone who's that old, and the wound and their ability to care for themselves is compromised. My mum went through a major operation and there were complications. And in fact, she's still recovering from that. Additionally, some of the family went to Bali and brought back a cold. Yay. But more importantly, you know, the family was sick. And I discount my own situation because additionally, my cat, Mia, got very sick. Now, Mia's not a cat that I've just sort of come across at a shop and bought or adopted off the street with an unknown health record. I raised her from 2 days old. She was abandoned by her mother, difficult birth, and the mother needed veterinary care. There was no one available to care for her and her sister, who unfortunately by the time I got her was malnourished to the point of being too far. So unfortunately we only managed to get, she was, you know, when the belly goes and it's bad. But we got food into Mia, and she had that spirit, you know, grab the bottle, drink. She had that spirit. And so I raised this cat from 2 days old, six weeks of absolute unbelievable. Parents will know, and thank God it ended at 6 weeks. Is all I'll say. Bloody hell! But because it's 2 hours round the clock, food, water, and they don't know how to pee, they don't know how to shit. So you've got to figure that out. Yeah, like the mums eat it in the den. Full respect to cat mums, did not know that shit. But anyway, raise this cat. She says hello. She drinks out of the tap. She pees in a bucket or just by the drain in the bathroom if she ever goes in the house. Or in the drain in the bathroom. She's a great cat and more human than most cats. Anyway, I've just spent a long time justifying why I spent an absolute fortune turning her into a cyborg cat. She now has a subcutaneous bilateral ureteral bypass system installed in her. Now that, firstly, was very expensive. Secondly, was right at a time when I was already quite emotionally vulnerable with the family situation, my mum and my gran. And yeah, so I just haven't had the time to make videos or the money to spend on things. You wouldn't believe what this has cost. And not only that, but in my opinion, they stuffed up the surgery and or the implant. They didn't follow, in my opinion, the surgical instructions properly, and both tubes ended up kinked just right next to the ports going into the implant. You know, in the same way as if you left too much hose on, say, a caravan's freshwater installation system, you know, going into the pump, you left too much hose and it kinked. Exactly like that. And then I read the instructions. But a video will be coming out about that because, yeah, it's a serious thing to say, and I am talking to a lawyer about it. So it's been traumatic, more emotional. It's been emotional, let's say that. It's been traumatic for the cat. Poor thing. But yeah, I've just been wiped out. You know, I want to fly. I've got the analog system for the headset. I got this guy that I've half designed the back for. Took this puppy for a flight, had a crash, and I want to show you some interesting properties that both of these got smashed, and we'll look at that in a minute. But it may have actually saved the frame. Quite possibly it did absorb. Anyway, we've got a laugh. My attempt at trying to make differentials out of different metals, not differentials, a drive shaft out of different metals did not go exceedingly well. I'm going to find another solution for that. There's lots to do. I've got the trailer hitch system, which I'm probably going to make a very short video about soon. For those Scale RC viewers. But that's it for this segment of the video. I'm going to wrap up here unless there's anything else I can think of, because this just is so much to cover. It really has been a schmoz, and you know, at the same time we've got a super hot summer coming. We're right next to the forest. It's a complete and utter mess in that forest. It's like dead trees like this for... If the fire comes up through there, it's not going to stop in that forest. There's no way they're going to stop it in the forest. There's no access for them to get to the sections of forest that are the worst. It's astounding. Like, I'm also thinking of trying to pivot somewhat. I want to do more camping stuff. I want to do more forward driving stuff. I also want to do more general building and sort of land care. I actually have been looking after 8 acres of saturated land for a number of years. I designed the drainage, I designed the roads, and I'm now, we've bought a tractor, and I'm now in the process of pushing it back and making it fire safe and sort of rediscovering the land that was, well, covered with bush when we got it. Not. This was all a farm once upon a time. So there's no real large established stuff here. There's only a few trees, and they all fall over anyway because of the ground. Anyway, I'm waffling on. Point is, if you want to know things about how to operate the tractor or maintain one, or good you know, methodologies for water management, in case you've got neighbors that drain onto your land like we do, you know, I can help teach you all about that stuff. I also have a degree in biology, and you know, last chick I dated kept saying I was a book. Obviously, it wasn't a book she wanted to read very long, but apparently I was a book. You know, like that kind of thing. Like, ask me anything in the questions down below about biology, and I will do my best to answer it. Also fairly knowledgeable about physics, chemistry. I don't like chemistry. It's all right, but I don't like it. I had a bad experience with chemistry. Yeah, I studied anthropology, all sorts of stuff like that. Oh, I'm out of energy and emotionally drained. I knew I shouldn't have bothered filming this right now. I'm not got it in me, you see. That's the thing. I'm just totally drained. I'm putting all my energy into just getting my shit to get, like, my life to keep running and doing the things I need to do. Which has helped me put on some, you know, muscle, which is great, but it's not really helping the YouTube channel too much. I do actually want to cover a couple of things. So, I saw MadTech's video about the HD0 goggles resetting. Never had the issue happen to me. I tend to have my radio on a strap, and so if my hands go up to my goggles, you know, I'm not bringing the strap up, I'm just hanging it there. So, yeah, if you're suffering from that, maybe if you're not using a strap, try using a strap. It'll help change those habits. The modification looked reasonably easy if you've got a steady hand to get in there and put that little capacitor across the terminals. And please do refer to MadTech's video for that information. But yeah, you could also use the Farad ring, the ferrite ring, and sort of do that. I have actually done that with my Fat Shark goggles years ago. I can't remember why now. Anyway, probably just stop plugging in spikes at 7 volts. But yeah. That was very interesting, and thank you for putting that video out. But yeah, like a suggestion that wouldn't involve using any material like electronic, doing like any electronic work, would be maybe just try a strap. I also saw a cool video, and I've yet to watch the flight footage, but from Stacey Abshire, and he's doing some really good work on the HD0 stuff. He's done some testing recently about R1 to R8 differences, and he's just got a video out with the dipole and cloverleaf antenna words comparison. Interesting commentary about how the cloveleafs, the omnis, tend to have worse reception from behind when he's using all Omnis on his receiver side. That's very interesting, because the pattern of the antenna, I mean, they're like here, right? So at what angle is that, Stacey? I'd love to know that. Like, how far down is it directly behind you, and to up does that go? And given that we have two sideways mounted antennas at the angle and two upwards ones, what's the, like, that's interesting. I find it very interesting. I would have thought it would be dead behind you, behind your head, that would be the dead spot, but it sounded like it came up a fair bit. Yeah, I'm curious about that. And the sort of pickup pattern of the antennas, is there some sort of null area effect because of electronic interference in the goggles or your head that's increasing that?
Well, I did go back and look at the footage, and I'd like to share my thoughts with you, and maybe ask Stacey for his comments on his thoughts on my thoughts, maybe. Okay, so looking at the footage here, you can definitely see there is a difference between R1 and R8 on either antenna setups. But I do want to concentrate on that area above the roof when they come round, so try to keep an eye on that and the interference you see. Going back to that now, you can see once they're furthest away and going around the tree, that the R8s do suffer and the Omnis suffer more than the dipoles. As we come back down the road, there is what appears to be more interference on R1 for both antennas, in my opinion, which is a bit funny, but in different areas, different effects. And that's probably due to the way that the RF is working out in that sort of area he's flying through. Also note that the camera looks different, and here we are on the roof down below and coming around up on R8 on the Omni, and R1 there finally, and you can see that it definitely does suffer more, the Omni, with the penetration through the roof behind where Stacey is. Now I'm going to put down the difference, like in the interference patterns between the dipole and the Omni, down to the fact that the Omni is broadcasting its power, or the power it's broadcasting is spread over a wider area and is therefore less able to penetrate, as where the dipole can penetrate better.
So quickly before we wrap up, I want to cover some upcoming videos. We have a small follow-up video coming on that, probably, because that seems necessary. I have the analog for the goggles, got to put that in, got to do the update for the latest firmware. This failed, so the drive shaft thing, we're going to circle, put a pin in, and circle back around to. The eyebolts. The trailer hitches. This is a pretty decent little idea for trailer hitches. I'm going to have a quick video going into that, and yeah, how useful I found those things when it comes to making like scale RC trailers. And the lights, they will be coming out soon. Finally, I know a lot of you have subscribed recently for one of my older videos. Like I did it an age ago and I didn't release it. I didn't, ever finish the part 2 with DaVinci Resolve, and so I have to re-edit the whole thing, and it's ancient now. I still will have it, but I now have the part, I've already re-edited the part 2, and that's why I didn't release part 1. Part 1 seems to have actually been reasonably popular, and thank you very much for all the likes and comments on that video. I am going to be working on part 2. I've found the footage and I've started to go through it. There are a couple options with using DaVinci Resolve and taking it to Premiere Pro. I can use both, but I have a more up-to-date Premiere Pro, and that's more stable. It crashes less. Basically, I'm going to have to, I think, take the whole thing, resequence it, re-edit it, and put it together, in entirety for you again. Now, I do believe that I know that I didn't ever actually use the app yet. I've installed it, and I've loaded it up, but I've never logged in and used it. And that's because I never really had to. The device came with a remote, which is mounted up here. And I found that, yeah, to be really easy to use, to actually just use the thing. The phone, to me, is just a clumsier solution. So I'm not sure if I'll ever get there. It's just, I don't find it useful. Yeah. It's, you got to get the phone out, you got to do something on it. Halfway through a goddamn project, someone will ring you and the thing will close, and just, no, sorry, I can't deal with that. I need a communications device and I need other, yeah. So that's how I am. Maybe I'm old fashioned. But it will be coming out, probably sans the app. But it does have the other installation stuff in it. There is an ultrasound video coming out. I bought an ultrasound. There is some testing video stuff coming out on that. There is a couple of minor product reviews. There's more stuff on my truck that I want to do. Yeah, and I'd love to hear down below, you know, are you interested in four-wheel driving? Are you interested in, you know, home improvements? Are you interested in gardening? Are you interested in land maintenance? Are you interested in biology? I have a degree in biology. You know, I'm very into space. I'm very into aeronautics, as you might know. I'm into all sorts of stuff, and happy to sort of vary around and cover all these things, which to me are somewhat related in that they're all amazing. So if I get a response on that, then I'm going to make a section in the Discord, a channel for questions to be posted. And when I get enough questions to make a QA, I'll do that. Yeah, and I'll, you know, try to go through, find the answers, find references for the answers, and do that for you, you know, to answer your questions, because I will learn too, and it will be interesting. And I think talking about science is fun, and teaching new things to people is fun. And if I manage to do that, then great. And if I entertain you, then great. And yeah, start growing my hair long and call myself Carl. Anyway, no, just jokes. Carl Hill rocks. Let's wrap this thing up. Anyway, that is that. Thank you very much for watching. I really hope you've enjoyed the content, and yeah, like I've sort of managed to sort of explain my absence a little bit. Yeah. Peace out, be well, and don't forget, please like those videos and share the channel, you know, around. It really does help, and you know, it means a lot. Peace out. Catch you next time.